What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at the most meta strikers in FIFA 23 right now. So if you kind of cast your eyes back probably about 2 weeks, we had the patch, or at least a game update that basically meant Lengthy is no longer as superior as what it was. They didn't necessarily drop Lengthy or make it any worse. What they've basically done is, as what they've explained, is explosive and controlled wasn't working in the length that they, or at least the manner that they wished that was working. So that means we have had a total shift on how we play the game and also who we pick, because we know full well that we've seen this gold card more times than we'd like to see. It doesn't mean that necessarily he is rubbish anymore, because he most definitely is not. In terms of kind of meta cheap players, we have got the 90 Haaland here, which I think is coming in at a pretty penny, but we are looking as well at that gold also. So if we go to his one to watch, I don't know how much he actually is at the moment. So he's coming in at a 900,000 coin card. He's 90 rated. Obviously, we'll have a month off in terms of cards, so technically this card is probably the best time to get him in terms of price not being as high as it could be if he's scoring 4 or 5 goals a game. But in terms of the gold card, which most definitely is still very, very usable in this game, he is coming in at 30,000 coins. That is absolutely crazy to think that you can get this card and he will definitely fit into pretty much most teams, especially if you haven't got one of the top end strikers that we talk about today. He will definitely fit in as one of the most efficient for your cost strikers you can physically get on this game. It is just period. That is the best card you can get for that price. Then I'd say personally the best card that I've used in terms of gold has got to be Mbappe, especially according to strikers. Second account, I've been using gold Haaland. Main account, we got very, very lucky at the start of the game to get Mbappe as well. So a very, very big pull that personally last year it took me so long to get an Mbappe, and what a cheat code he actually is every single game. We did get him right at the start, which I think he was about 1.6 mil. Now you can see he's steadily coming down. He's at the same sort of price, around about a 1 mil like 90 Haaland. So he is coming down in terms of price, and he has got himself another special, which obviously would come under a very, very top end card as well. If we're looking at the price of him, I think he's definitely got to be at least in that really high range. We're looking at about 1.7, I'd say. Is that a 1.8? So again, a big upgrade there. You're looking at an extra 800k for a dynamic and a +1. I personally would always go to the gold card 100%. And then the final card we've got in here at the moment that we'll look at in terms of in depth, we will show you the other strikers also, is going to be that man R9. Again, when you're spending 7.5 million on a card, I expect him to be pretty incredible. R9 has his own run. He's a 5'5", right-footed, medium-low, 6 foot. He again is such a good card that you just cannot fail to cheat anybody out of a game with this card. I've not seen him. I think I've seen him once, but I don't see him very often, to be honest, which is a natural. He's 7 million coins. He is the best, especially the best striker in the game right now. But in terms of cost for coin, I would much rather go get a gold Haaland at this point, spend 30k rather than 7.5 mil. If we've got the Moments R9 or campaign, whatever it's going to be called, then fair enough. Then that's going to be incredible. Obviously, he will lose value over time, but that's just natural. So in terms of other strikers, for me, that is the range. You've obviously got the most cheap sort of meta striker, you've got the most expensive gold striker, and then you also have the best striker in the game. But with that adds, again, a little bit of conflict, because in terms of icons, and especially in the top end sort of million sort of category, we have got a fair few. We're looking at Pushkas, we're looking at Cruyff, we're looking at Eusebio, who are both centre forwards, so they obviously won't pop up there. Pele obviously being in that list as well, absolutely nuts, but very, very expensive in terms of kind of just buying them for your team randomly. So I think for them, they are more packable, what I'd personally want to go with, rather than necessarily buy them. I don't normally have millions upon millions of coins to just sit and go buy them. If we're looking at Pele, he again is coming in, what's that bid? 3.7 mil, which is just incredible. If we want to see Eusebio, which I think for me, it would be, how do I spell his name? Is it? Yeah, there it is. I personally would go for the base. That is going to be the best version of him, which again will come in at a whopping 2.6. So in terms of efficiency for coins, that's where you're going to be struggling that little bit. In terms of other strikers, if we go for golds, just to see if there's any others that would kind of tickle your fancy, I think we've had a good amount of special cards, to be honest. Obviously, some of the heroes are really good. Smolarek being a great one. Valer is absolutely incredible himself. And then we go down the tiers of icons into Eto. We then look at Drogba, looks really good still. Even without that lengthy meta, the card is very, very geared towards this game. And same with Brolin. We personally used him quite a bit. And again, he is a very, very top-end striker. Wouldn't say he's the most meta, but definitely one that you could get behind. If we're looking at what we were liking before, it's mainly going to be Dzeko. It would be someone like De Jong. It would be Higuain. All of them strikers that start off lengthy can have that hunter on as well to make that pace just even more incredible. And again, they are still usable, but I think at the minute we are seeing a change in who's the strikers. We're seeing a lot more Torreses. We're seeing a lot more pacey, explosive / controlled players. Smolarek was absolutely fantastic for me. He was just an absolute dynamite up front, and he's coming in. I don't know how much he's actually coming in at. He is a whopping... Is he still extinct? That is absolutely incredible. So I believe the extinct price is about 480 mil. 480k. 480 mil. Jesus, that would be a lot of a price. But in terms of them, that is going to be the kind of top end specials. If we're looking at, again, more of the gold variety, there isn't a huge amount. I'm seeing still quite a few CR7s. Like I say, Mbappe is normally a big one, same as Haaland. If we're going a bit further down, I think the game has genuinely developed already that gold cards are just not being used already, which is already very, very scary. We did see a lot of Harry Kane's and Benzema's before the patch, and Nkunku's one that I haven't seen quite a lot of, but he has got himself a nice path to glory, which will do him an absolute service himself. I'm interested to know if there's any more centre forwards that we could miss out on here. Obviously, we've got the Ribery's. In fact, Ribery is just one in himself as well. We'll say that he could be more left wing based, which we will do a meta list as well anyway. But in terms of striker, I think he could definitely still get you a few goals in that bag with a 5-5. Great pace, great shooting, great dribbling. And then if we go a bit down, Dalglish is obviously pretty good. This is the path to glory and Nkunku. So if he does manage to go up in rating, then again, we're looking at a very, very nice card there. Would potentially like him more cam though. Harry Kewell, another brilliant one. We've got Rooney. As you can imagine, we have got a fair few strikers you can use, but I think the top three for me is going to be Haaland, Mbappe, and obviously R9 in terms of the team. They are the ones I personally would see the most. Mainly it's going to be Haaland and Mbappe. R9, if everybody could afford him, he would be in absolutely everybody's team, hands down. And then if we just go into a little bit of the lower sort of lower sort of pricing, if we can go a bit further down, we've obviously got Ansu Fati from an SBC. We then go a bit further down. Morata's definitely not. Keane, again, a very nice cheap one there, to be honest. I think he's coming in now at a whopping, if we can find it on Footbin, he's coming in at 19.5k. Again, great pace, great shooting, can still whack that hunter or anything like that on him. So you've got a very cheap player. Nunez, one to watch. I think that one's coming in at about 200 now, but obviously he's only just got an inform, so I can imagine it will be an interesting one. And I think if he does get a Uruguay win, then obviously he gets an upgrade as well. Then we do have some icons in SBCs. Trezeguet, Eto, I believe, is one as well. I'm not too sure, but I think he is. Again, some very, very top-end icons you can get there. And if we go a bit further down, we'll be looking at what we were kind of hoping for before with Falcao, with obviously Higuain, who we've already mentioned. Ross Barkley was a cracking one with a lengthy meta. And then we go into the kind of really low tier, which again, I very rarely go in and think the strikers are not going to score. It is always a Haaland. It is always an Mbappe. It is incredible to see how the teams have developed so quickly already with no league SBCs. Very limited upgradable packs, to be honest. I think we've had quite a few, but none that have been like they are so OP, like a double 80 plus or an 81 plus, 82 plus. We've mainly seen 75 with one of 2 picks, one of 3 picks, and mainly just 78 or 77 upgrades. So obviously it's very interesting to see where everybody's upgrading their teams from. Obviously, a lot of people are getting lucky in packs. Soloff was obviously a good one back in kind of lengthy meta days. But I do think for me, these are the 3 that I personally would go for. If I was brand new starting the game, I'd want at least one of these at the minimum. Haaland obviously being the cheapest, which I think will give you a bit of a sense, because if I'm buying an R9, I expect him to do a hell of a lot more than what he probably will, because I've bought him for 7 million. If I'm buying a 30k card, I kind of expect goals, but every goal is just an even better factor for him. Same with a million coin card. I want them to be able to dictate the game. Every game have an impact, and sometimes that's just not the case for everyone because the team is not fully equipped. I'd say always get a good striker, but then you definitely want to max out the rest of the team around them, which obviously we'll have a look at as well. We've done the defenders, so if you want to check that out on the left-hand side in a second, and also we can go into some more with the midfielders, with the wingers, and even goalkeepers at some point in the near future. So let me know if you enjoy these videos. What striker are you using right now? Are you using one or two? And let me know who they are. Like I say, check out a video for the other meta video, and also the ranking attacking tier list if you are interested in that. Apart from that, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you all for the next one. Peace.